Estamos.
We're live, Mari.
Hell yeah. Hey,
How are
how's
you,
it going?
Maddalena? Well, here we are
Doing well. Doing well.
doing a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. I guess you too.
Thanks for having me.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
honored.
We're both busy. Yeah.
So, would you mind if I do like a small Spanish impro? I'm not
Go
very
ahead.
good at
Yeah.
this, but I'm just okay.
Dale.
Bueno, bienvenidos de nuevo. Segunda vez que hacemos este experimento. Estamos con otra amiga de nosotros que ha sido importante en motivarnos para, bueno, para este nuevo formato que estamos haciendo, Maddalena, que está aquí, que se las presento. Ahí está Maddalena. Obviamente ella se presentará a sí misma después. Y bueno, hemos estado conversando hace harto tiempo. La primera reunión que tuvimos, yo me acuerdo que estaba en el desierto de Atacama y logramos reunirnos con una diferencia horaria loquísima. Y hemos estado conversando todo este tiempo a raíz del proyecto documental que nosotros estamos haciendo y porque además Maddalena estudia griego antiguo con Amon Hillman y ha terminado su curso intensivo que era prácticamente imposible de hacer. Y ella lo ha terminado y ahora nos va a contar cómo fue todo eso, además de un montón de temas que ella está estudiando relacionados con la temática de nuestro documental Stones and Serpents y además en temáticas nuevas que han aparecido para nosotros, que se han transformado de importancia, que no estaban quizá en una primera instancia en el guión, pero que a raíz de las conversaciones que hemos podido tener con Maddalena, con Snappy, obviamente con el doctor, se han ido abriendo caminos que incluso se han relacionado un poco con nuestro guión. Así que ahora hago el switch de idioma. Pues la idea de esto también es traer un poco a invitar a la audiencia en español a que vea lo que se está generando de forma intercontinental entre la gente que está en Estados Unidos y como Maddalena, Amon, Snappy en Canadá y Torán en Malta y la gente con la que estamos colaborando para Stones and Serpents y para este nuevo formato de podcast en vivo, live streaming o whatever. Por eso, sin decir, saludos también a Santa Ana, California. Sin decir más, hago el switch de idioma para poder conversar con nuestra amiga Maddalena. Mari, how are you, Maddalena? Welcome
I'm
to
doing great.
our
Yeah.
experiment.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's an honor. Yeah.
The honor is ours. So I guess like I just told in Spanish, obviously,
Mhm.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
can get a bit, but I was
Mhm.
explaining a bit of well how we met and
Yeah.
around the investigation of the documentary. Where I was telling about the course, the intensive, impossible course experiment,
Yeah.
super intensive of Ammon, and also that we share a bunch of inquiries, can we say maybe,
Mhm.
and for me has been very important to talk with you, to talk with Snappy, with people that is on this like before us,
Yeah.
because obviously all of this is moving every day. It's not like the
Yeah.
topic is just one. It's like, well, you know better than me.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
you won't mind, can you talk a bit about you and for this small but huge audience?
Yeah. So I'm just a student. I've been I got into watching Lady Babylon, being a part of Satanic Congregation, and then began working on a major project, a library, consolidating all of the information. And it's really cool. It's called Soma Library, and we do a lot of research work. We link source text. There's just a bunch of um, rabbit holes and areas to look at, and it's been really fun to have that community and get involved. But yeah, I've been On my own path right now, doing diving into text and all sorts of stuff. So it's been an interesting time, and yeah, I'm here for it all. So in like a couple weeks ago, we just finished the intensive course, and I was really honored to be able to participate in an experimental ancient Greek intensive, as you know, and that was really fun. And yeah, now I'm preparing for the next phase of intense reading with Amen eventually, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. But my passion and my heart has always been with the biblical text, within the magic, within the history, and um yeah, learning about Medea and Lady Babylon, and all of these things, just as somebody who's exploring, has really exploded my mind in a way, because there's just so much, there's so many connections, there's so many synchronicities, and there's a lot that's important in this, with this information, that everybody should know because it affects our current reality. And I think that's also how you know, Lady Babylon, and Amen and Chewie and their work is really impacting the world, the fabric of reality, really, and being a positive force for the collective. And I'm very humbled to be a part of that renaissance and movement. So yeah.
That's beautiful. And actually, what you were just saying, as well, we're making a movie, so
Hmm.
you obviously are thinking about different stuff. That is a project, so it doesn't
Yeah.
have to absolutely be part of your life or your ideals or something like that. You know what I mean? For us, it
Hmm.
started like you see a cool theme, something very
Yeah.
interesting. You know that
Hmm.
before all of this, um, the possibility to even talk with Ammon, we already had the idea of this expedition in the Mediterranean with
Yeah.
like it was more like cloudy, but that was the whole idea. A bit of this, of ancient history.
Hmm.
That was our idea.
Yeah.
But for us was completely freaking like once we started to engage with Ammon and with all of you also, and with the idea of text and how important it is, because I guess what you are saying is the most important thing. Like you can take it from the perspective of okay, it's the history from the past, very cute, but at the same time it's not just that. I mean, it's something that has to do with us now. It's something that we don't have now openly, maybe,
Yeah.
and at the same time, obviously, what happened before has to do with what is happening now and what is going to happen in the future. So
Exactly.
I'm with you 100% in that idea that you were saying.
Mhm.
And would you mind to tell us a bit about the actual course you did? Like
Yeah,
you told me
sure.
already, but for
Hmm.
people
So,
that don't know.
so we did a 4 week course. Again, it's just trial. I know Amen is people are always asking me like, when is this course going to be out? And when can I participate in it? And eventually, I think he's going to put it out for free for everyone to have. I mean, not necessarily my sessions with him, but he's going to formulate something similar so that everyone can download this operating system, in order to be soldiers, fighting this war, but that this invisible war that's going on, right? But also preserving these ancient texts, and it's important as the next generation, uh, to be able to read the ancient Greek. That's like how many people do you know are able to open a text and even pick out words? And it's slim, at least in my community and the people I know. Nobody's interested in this kind of stuff. A lot of people are just doing their own thing. They're focused on maybe um their own career or their own path, but
Mhm.
to be able to have access and preserve these things, in a lot of early Almond episodes, he talks about how, all the classicists are dying out, right? Who's going to be a dragon preserving these texts? And I think he's going to equip a lot of people through that course and making that accessible for everyone. So how it went down was we used Hansen and Quinn, which is a really thick textbook, and in um, uh, 80 hours or less of class time, we went through 20 units. And so lots of memorization, lots of exploring different pieces of text, a lot of grammar. And it was very hard and time consuming. Also because I had, the library keeping tabs on me and Amen and the whole congregation cheering me on. And it was really fun and beautiful. At the same time, if I wanted to make it through, I had to make it happen myself. And the thing that kept me going was the muse and was creativity and understanding my intention with participating. It's not for obviously myself. It's not just to be like, hey, look what I can do. I can read ancient Greek or something like that. It's more like, okay, how can I develop this skill in order to translate some stuff that's not been translated, or actually look at things for myself, or carry on this skill to uncover things that have been hidden in the Bible, for example. And so I know that I want to continue on learning and bringing that preservation and offer that to other people. So yeah, I it was really fun and cool. Amin was awesome. He's a great teacher. He's very encouraging, and yeah, he wanted to see me succeed. He wanted all of the people in the classes that showed up every day. I mean, 3-hour classes, very, very intensive. It was meant and designed to be difficult. And 4 weeks is like an impossible time, right? To do like 200 hours, including
Yeah.
study time, right? So that's it was just very intense and awesome. I would do it all over again for sure.
Yeah, and I think like, well, congratulations first. We were all
Thanks.
watching
Thank you.
about it, and
Yeah.
but what I think is like change of paradigm kind of thing, because let's say when I first started to understand the importance of the what is the actual text, because you say like what
Mhm.
is the text, you know? Obviously I guess
Right.
most of us has been exposed to this history, like Greek mythology histories and everything, like from when
Mhm.
you are a kid, like even in the school
Yeah.
here we have that, you know. But so you start to see, okay, there is obviously the Greek, ancient Greek should be important, but you never get this idea of that ancient Greek was this massive language, like
Yeah.
very, you know. So at the same time, this whole idea that you could be able to actually go into the actual source without any
Mhm.
filter in between
Yeah.
of the same story that you probably heard a bunch of times.
Mhm.
Maybe you will not see, like if you are not into this, let's say I understand why you are doing it. I would love to
Yeah.
do it at this, like, you know, but for the people like are just realizing that this let's say this thing is happening, like there's people doing it, there's a movement doing it. I mean, you are in the US, I'm in
Mhm.
South America, in Chile. I have a friend that works with us in Malta Island, talking with people in different continents. That,
Yeah.
you know, is something is happening. So what I mean is how, I know it's maybe a difficult question, but what would you say to somebody who maybe is very interested in history or whatever, but he's
Mhm.
like reading every scholar you can get, but it's not focusing on the importance of the actual source? Why is so
Yeah.
important, the actual one, you know?
Yeah. The sources are important because they're untainted, they're unmanipulated in the language. You can have all sorts of translations, right, that people do, and some of them are closer to being right, and some of them are really far off. And when you dive into various texts, you can start to notice those things. And again, I'm still like developing my understanding of just how complicated the language is. So even just understanding that and taking the time to develop my vocabulary and how like connected different words are. For example, in the live stream on Lady Babylon yesterday, he talked about how he pulled up a word, and it was what, like extermination or something, and showed that one of the first concepts of genocide came from the Septuagint text from the Bible itself. And that's like a mind-blowing thing. Who would have known that unless you looked in a lexicon, right? And so he's really like blowing the lid off of everything just through language, just through showing everyday people how they can look and use tools and look in vast libraries, you know, the TLG and Perseus Tufts and stuff like that, that's accessible. um you know, I'm a mom, I'm an artist and poet that and musician, and you know, this is my passion. I'm not like, I'm also not being paid to do this. I'm just like doing all of this for fun. So being able to learn, what I'd say to anybody who wants to learn is you can do it if you're dedicated and willing to not be stuck on, I think this is one thing, then it's permanent, and that's what I think, and that's what it is. And it, the language shows you that everything is so malleable, even just like reality itself. It's changing, it's morphing, it's very dynamic and multi-dimensional even. It's colorful, it's beautiful. And yeah, like looking to those untainted sources for information. I mean, even, you know, Amin was saying it's okay to read an English translation to understand the story.
Hmm.
Because, you know, learning the language itself is really hard. But unless you understand these ancient concepts, then you don't get a full grasp of how it has affected our current state of existence, right? Like our culture, or you know, whatever it is that you're reading, right? Because the Greek language also is not bound to Greece, and that was something that's really cool to understand, because somebody said that to me today. They said, you know, if you are botching translation, you're a like a scammer, you don't know what you're talking about, you can't understand the meaning behind the Greek language unless you're Greek, unless that's your ethnicity. And that's not correct, because the sources themselves show that,
Exactly.
you know, that Egyptians and Libyans and people in Spain and Italy and all these different types of groups of people and throughout time have been affected and experienced the language of the ancient Greek, and it is very powerful. It's very magical, and it's not just like any like learning German or learning French or whatever. It's more than that, um, and I don't know how to put it into words very well. But yeah, it once you involve yourself with it, then it involves itself with you, if that makes sense. It comes to life. It enlightens you in a way that can't be um explained through I don't know through words I suppose. I mean through the words, but I can't
Yeah.
explain it right this second.
I
But
know. I mean, I can
um
back you up 100% because when we were recording and we were talking with him with Amon at the same
yeah.
time we were recording, I just realized that you think about Greece as
Hmm.
like modern Greece,
Yeah.
but when we are talking about when we are talking like ancient Greek language, you are
Hmm.
talking the whole Mediterranean at some point. Even you don't even know where like I mean, it's not just in the area of the Aegean. I mean, there
Yeah.
was in North Africa they were speaking ancient Greek. In modern Turkey, they were speaking ancient Greek. So
Yeah.
for us, it opened also something practical to do because we were doing something that we never was just Greece because
Yeah.
the whole project is about a Mediterranean
Hmm.
phenomenon. But we didn't went at first through the language. Then
Yeah.
that was an engine for us, like a very important one, obviously, because it's
Hmm.
like you can trace a lot of stuff just because of the language, like the connection between the different. Um, I don't know if ethnicities is the word, but
Yeah.
different tribes or whatever that they were speaking about the same because
Mhm.
you can trace even from where it's coming things like the cold because of
Mhm.
different letters even that are embedded in ancient Greek that came, I don't know, 5,000 years before. So yeah, that opened our project also. So I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not about Greece like modern Greece. It's about
Yeah.
like
And
a big phenomenon.
there's so much. There's so
Mhm.
much that's continually, at least for me, I'm just continuing to discover. Like I learned that uh the Scythians like came from Egypt or
That's
like
amazing.
Libya. And like I'd have to re look at the source, but yeah, there's also so many genres that are telling similar myths and stories, and I think a lot of people have that point of view, like everything is fantasy, everything is fake, right? And
Oh wow, yeah.
or
But you
symbolism,
but you
but
can find
there's
that like in modern days, everything is false. Nobody believes
yeah.
nothing. I mean, it's like
n-
everything is false, but your job. So if you are talking about what
mhm,
we're talking about now, obviously it's like a movie. You are
yeah.
so used to see a movie that everything that goes out of the normality of um, ¿cómo decir? Well, the normality of our everyday life.
Hmm.
Like everything is fantasy, but what do you have to do in modern society?
Yeah.
Which is obviously not true, but you can be engaged in that reality very easily, and all of this will not have any importance if you are absolutely blinded of everything
Right.
because of that.
Yeah. And
That's
at
why it's
least
important what you're saying now.
yeah. Also, I think a lot of people have a westernized or false understanding of history, or they've never been exposed to any sort of mythology. Like me, I never was allowed really to indulge in mythology because I grew up so religious. That was, oh, what is that? That's like pagan, and that is a word to demonize anything outside of the illusion. That's also why I'm very passionate about Lady Babylon, and yeah, there's just a lot that is beautiful to still be discovered. And if you take it with a grain of salt, whether you want to view it as symbolism, metaphor, any literature, right? It can be applied to your life and you can benefit from it. But still, I would like to get down to the roots of what is real, and to be able to use the ancient Greek language to understand those earliest documentations of for example, like what a Christ is, or
Mhm.
of medicine, of you know all
I
sorts of
guess
stuff.
something that is not just words, something that is you perform, you do, kind of thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like that's what makes me crazy about it also. Like there's
Yeah.
not just well, there's something practical of all of this. Maybe well, that's why I love to use the word technology now after I heard it a bunch of times. So language has
Yeah.
its own technology. Maybe I don't know anything about ancient Greek. This
Yeah.
is just
It's
about interviews I've been doing, but I can feel
Mhm.
that like they were not. This is has a practical. There's something that we might love. I mean, I'm sure, but just to put it as a question, you think there is something that we lost, like a practical thing for our lives, when once we would cut it off from this uh, moment in time or way to see this concept of cosmos that is being changed by
Mhm.
the life we know now.
Yeah. I mean, everything is meaning has developed in a way that is used to manipulate. It is aligned with uh, a a life of lies in a way. So I think that studying the language, studying what things mean, yeah, for example, you said cosmos, the order within the mind, is like, yeah, who would have expected that to be a meaning of cosmos, right? You hear that and then like for me an English speaking American brain, and you think, oh, like celestial skies with like
Oh
outer
yeah,
space cats or something
telescope,
stupid like that, or
the freaking
telescope,
telescope. Yeah.
you know. But yeah, we've become very superficial and shallow, I think, in this modern age where we're getting dumber by the minute, and the technology within the ancient Greek kind of brings us out of that. It wakes us up in a way. And at least that's my experience. That's how I've been feeling. And yeah.
Yeah, so I can relate with you from my perspective, which is obviously different. I'm not very embedded as you in the ancient Greek and the possibility to engage with like one on one with it. But I guess the last thing about before we go into what we what we planned to talk about is
Mhm,
like I think is that this it becomes like kind of important to understand why is important
mhm,
the actual first thing we got from it, and at the same time to be able to understand that the connection you have with that time frame of humanity, like we as modern people, let's say, is way more close than we actually think. I mean, this is something that I've been every day now, um, being aware a bit more of it, like not just the language. I mean, in Spanish we have like we're a Latin language, so we have a bunch of Greek language. I study music, so
Yeah.
I know the modes. All of them are Greek, and there's a lot of now that I'm kind of there is obviously still something that maybe could be re-engaged with, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So besides the
There's
project we're doing,
yeah.
all of us obviously are like we have a bit of that, like
Yeah.
personally, well, I would like to, even if it doesn't have to do with the job we're doing, like we're making a movie which you have to make it as something very organized to be able to make it happen, but at the same
Yeah.
time you are being very you cannot stay away from it in these regards we're talking about now.
Yeah. And I think that's like it's you're doing that expedition, you're documenting the things that you're finding, and which I'm very excited to see when it's finished, and and hear all about how it's evolved and everything. So but yeah, like exploring the language allows you to unlock something in the mind and in history and in time, I think, to really see the world for what it is. And how cool is it that you're exploring the Mediterranean, where all of these stories have taken place, where all of this has sacred things have occurred, and I'm envious in a way.
But I can tell
To
you something
travel is
about
like,
that.
okay,
I can
yeah.
tell you something about that. That is, as we were there, we're probably gonna be there again. But the whole situation is not just for us. This connection with this that we're founding as we're going
Hmm.
deeper on it. It's happening in the Mediterranean at the same time as it's happening here in South America, North America. Like
Yeah.
the disconnection is not. It's not that they are more connected over there. It's like they actually are. I had a bunch of interactions with people from Athens, especially, and they were very, very interested on it. Like because they also are a bit disconnected from it. And there is
Hmm.
that they became very Catholic at some point,
Yeah, very
not very Christian, I
orthodox,
guess,
and yeah.
and like in the whole Mediterranean, that area, in
Hmm.
Malta happened the same. That we were a bunch of time in Malta, which has a great connection with everything that was happening in in these times,
Yeah.
and yeah, so there is a disconnection, and there is people trying to find also something. So that's why they were so into what we were doing when we went there. So
That's
this
cool.
is something that seems to be. Now I'm talking with you. I was talking with Snappy the other day, and you know what I mean. It's like it's not
Hmm.
local or like just some people that is it's something that is kind of happening at the same time. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
globally, everyone
Yeah,
is
exactly.
following the ancient path in a way. Like we're seeking to understand. And I think a lot of it has to do with how much history has just been um fabricated and lies, right? So now people are willing to look for themselves and try to find and figure it out. And a lot of people have really out there thoughts, and I think it's human to be um an explorer, to be a researcher. I think that we shouldn't lose that. Um,
Beautiful.
and
Absolutely.
everybody, has that ability to see those little glimmers of the muse of inspiration and follow those pathways. And I feel like that's how it's even led me here, right? You're an explorer, you're going places. I'm an explorer, I'm just looking at stories and text. And it started with the Bible, and it started with me, looking and trying to figure out, okay, what is the deeper meaning here? What does it really say? And am I willing to be called a blasphemer or a heretic, to go outside of the norm and challenge these ideas, um, or this holy sacred word? And that's like a really controversial thing to do, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, I've been finding, I mean, I've found some crazy stuff. And being willing to be wrong about, you know what you find, and allowing it other people to be involved and say, hey, does this say this? Mm, that might lead somewhere else, and yeah, and understanding like where different roots lead to, like different words are connected through their embedded roots. And yeah, like you can trace different
Mhm.
things through the language, and that's something that it's so
Yeah,
cool.
I,
It's so
I,
cool,
I,
so
I
awesome.
just I just can imagine a bit of it, because I heard a bit of
Hmm.
of those kind of things when I've been
Hmm.
asking some specific questions about, like, I this, or this double sigma, let's say, like
Oh
that,
yeah.
that you can, which is like, obviously it has a connection with it, and how can you can trace that in the language at the same time as the drugs they were using, let's
Hmm.
say. So
Yeah.
it gives you, it's pretty much like a new view of everything, and then, well, we can talk about this forever, because what happened because of it before, where it came from, where is the knowledge of all of this, and that created this kind of era of enlightenment for a bit.
Hmm.
And it's absolutely crazy. So
Yeah, it
imagine
is.
us to try to do that in a movie, so, and not to
Right.
change the script.
Oh man.
Like, as like,
Hmm.
as well, I have talked with you, and Amon has said that to me also. Like, this is something that you're studying all day. It's like reading new sources every day. I guess you are able to, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, go and search for new sources that nobody has ever translate before,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like, so
Yeah. I
we're
mean,
talking about something that is happening, moving,
yeah.
like,
Think about how many people are under the control of the church, or Abrahamic religions, whether it's Islam or Christianity or Judaism. How much of the world is involved in that? And
mm,
then think about how the Bible's never been translated from the Greek into English, accurately,
like directly, you mean?
directly. Yeah. And isn't that wild?
Yeah, absolutely.
How much is more is there to discover? I mean, we've all like just looked at pieces, right? And saw Jesus and the naked boy, right? And saw, I mean, with Lady Babylon and Amun's work, we're seeing all these things that can be traced back to, um the mystery rites. And so that's where it's like, oh man, if that's true, then that disrupts the entire world. That affects the whole world. And in a way, if you're trying to control the populace through a false narrative that one is proclaiming is um, infallible, indestructible, and words from a higher power that you are under, and they're actually based in nothingness, then it is an absolute um it's disgusting in a way, you
Mhm.
know, to
Mhm.
um to allow that to continue for so long, you know. To how has it been what, thousands of years now, hundreds and thousands
Yeah.
of years,
Well,
hundreds and hundreds.
yeah, and
Um
it's also like the actual topic, because I've been encountering this, because let's say there is this idea. I'm an archaeologist, or or somebody that is very connected with the cutting edge
mhm,
that we're founding.
okay.
So you find something, and I realized that you need actually a protocol. Like we need this much, this much, this much, this much in every area.
Okay.
Even if we found something that is saying that if I found this here, all of this, we have to erase it.
Mhm.
That will not happen. I'm not talking about biblical stuff. Like, let's say
Yeah.
just like the concept of up arts.
No,
Have you heard? Well, it's
I
a
don't
concept that
think
is like out of place artifact. So
out of
let's say
place.
you go and you find something that it will tell you all about DNA, which
Okay.
is I don't know, 20,000 years old. So you cannot put it in history. You
Yeah.
cannot put it on it like as you as an actual professional of it. You need to do like follow a protocol. And if you don't find another bunch of it, this item will be cataloged as an out of place artifact.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
it's freaking crazy, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's something that I thought the first time somebody told me about this concept of the oop arts, I was like, but what
Mhm.
the fuck are you talking about? They're like, so if I find a freaking refrigerator from 30,000 years old, and no, we cannot put it on history yet because we need three more, or where it came from, because if not,
Yeah.
all of the scholars, all of the professionals, all of the history books, you have to change them, to change
Hmm.
everything. So there
Yeah.
is this kind of a protocol on it. So I imagine if this is just history, like
Hmm.
nothing related with religion.
Yeah.
Oh, let's imagine in religion, it would be completely,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
it will be, you will not have the whole story. That I guess that's for sure in any of them,
oh yeah,
unless you actually go on and like you go for yourself and translate what they were saying, or
exactly.
to try to make a documentary about it and talk with
Hmm.
persons like you.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on,
Yeah. Hmm.
you have to, I
Exactly.
mean, it's in every layer of the what we are, what happened, where we are going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Maddalena,
cool. Hmm.
we have a document here.
Hmm.
Would you like just go on elaborate on this?
Okay. I'll talk about it first. I wanted to talk about Medea. I
Okay.
thought it would be cool to take a look at eventually, I mean, tonight we could take a look at those sources. They're just translations, but they're beautiful images of who Medea is, and I just want to share like
Mhm.
who she is, why she's important, and um I've been drawn to her, especially through this work, especially learning about her, and it's been a magical time. I'm still learning so much more and returning to these texts and translations, and yeah, so the first time I heard about Medea wasn't through, I mean, she's most infamous in Euripides. Are you familiar with Medea, Euripides' Medea?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have it right
So,
here.
oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the most famous depiction of Medea, and she's this, violent, um, uh, terrible mom, right? She
Mhm.
slays her kids, and that's just this picture and reputation that she's been given through, I mean, in the current times, right? And there's so much more to her. There's been so much more written that can even be looked at and studied, and the rabbit holes go on, right, with her. So learning about her being Queen of Babylon, Lady Babylon, and connecting her to the mystery rites, that the mysteries, that would be the Bacchic mystery and Eleusinian mysteries, and learning that she, through the language, is the first documented Christ, meaning one who applies a medicated salve, or oil, or she is one who involved herself in this experimentation with plants and substances in order to create some sort of altercation or magical result. She was the first documentation of magic, of forcing her will um, into the physical reality that's been documented in a text. And
And
she,
Maddalena,
so,
can I'm sorry,
oh,
can
you're
we
good.
like to time frame it a bit? Like,
Sure.
we are talking about Medea. This is Bronze Age
Yeah.
before. Mhm.
So the texts are, I mean, I think the earliest texts may be traced back to like 800, but most
Mhm.
of them are 400 to first century BC. There's a couple in Latin that I like, and uh, but a lot of people say that she lived earlier in Bronze Age. That these stories are Bronze Age. But the thing about her is, I see her in and out of time. Like, she's always depicted as somebody who is a mythological person, but like, if you just Google it, it'll always be, yeah, Medea's a fabricated
Yeah,
character,
of course.
but
Mhm.
there are his, I
Because
mean,
they were
there
writing
are,
about her after,
yeah,
like
and
these guys in like Euripides, you were saying, he was writing
mhm,
about her
way
like
after.
way after. Yeah.
And so it's mythology, but there's also a lot that can be said about her potentiality of being an
Mhm.
actual historical person. For example, there
Mhm.
are,
And
you
what it
know,
represents.
yeah, and what she represents, right? But she's also like in, Diodorus Siculus histories, and she's written about as being an actual person
Yeah.
who carried on this reputation and lineage that would be the Medes, right? The um yeah, the around the Black Sea, Pontus. So
Mhm.
her son being like um one of the first that would evolve into that, which I put that at the end in the document, because it's just cool to look at. But yeah, she is a strong character that's often overlooked. And like on social media, you'll see all these other women characters, and they'll always be skipping over Medea. They'll even talk about Hecate and Circe, and they'll just leave out Medea,
Mhm.
even though she's
That's
written about
crazy.
so much. Like, I feel like there's just so much that's focused about Medea. Like, Medea was pictured in like Caesar's palace,
Mm.
or
I
whatever,
guess
and
she's the
like
only one
she's
we actually know that was there. Like you cannot have more documentation and in different um, guys that were reading history. I mean, reading, what's the word? Writing.
yeah,
Oh,
written
sorry,
in
I'm sorry.
history. Yeah, no, you're
About
good.
history, like Medea was named, like you were talking about Diodorus Siculus. He's an
Hmm.
historian.
Yeah,
He's not making up stuff. I mean, everything you read about
yeah,
him is not about. He's not a mythographer,
right.
and this is not just him. You can see the 1,000 years of people, like people talking about the person. So it's crazy what you were saying, like because you have
Yeah.
another figures, like everybody's very fixated in different figures, but
Yeah.
she it's like, but if you see like in European um, kind of tradition, modern
Mhm.
of even cinema, you will find guys like I guess it's like Pier Paolo Pasolini, even even the Satiricon, Fellini, they were doing Medea histories. I
Yeah.
mean, if you go to
There's even
when I,
opera and
to
like
Europe, it's all
all
the time
sorts
you will
of,
find stuff
yeah.
about Medea. Yeah, this
Hmm.
is very a person, I mean, like a concept person or whatever. But I
Yeah.
guess the important thing is like we have a lot of historians, ancient
Hmm.
historians, talking about this actual person.
Yeah. Talking about her as if she lived, but also talking about her as if she moved in and out through time, like she is a time
Hmm.
traveler in a way. And so, and described her as being immortal, that she attained this immortality. And, I think that I don't know what I think really about about it, but I think it's so cool, really. But yeah, learning about what she was doing in various different stories, whether it's creative or inspired narrative or history. She is um, portrayed as being a very powerful and influential force. Like if somebody couldn't figure out what an oracle is saying, there's a text that talks about how they went to her to try to figure out what that oracle was saying, and
Hmm.
getting advice from her, and she does a bunch of different magical operations essentially to positively affect people, but and heal, right, through her through her pharmakia. But also there are texts that talk about how she decides to use it in order to punish, as vengeance almost. So, but doing it in a way that is honorable, to defend something, or um yeah, or because these people were being harmful. So, I mean, we'll look at some of these texts here in a minute, but yeah, so she is this this woman who is this priestess of Hecate, and there it she's described as being a daughter of Hecate, a priestess of Hecate,
Hmm.
a devotee, whether it's like through lineage or just in this embodiment of that level of knowledge through plant medicine, through experimentation with dark magic that was done by Circe and Hecate, but
Her family.
her family, yeah, the daughters of the sun. But she's also recorded as being one of the first oracles, and being this example of the ideal Sibyl, right? She's able to create altered states and induce visions, and it's clearly seen that as a Christ that's what she's doing. And although that word Christ is off-putting because of religion, the word itself is used firstly to describe somebody who is using substances and drugs in order to create altered states. And that is what the oracles were doing. That is what priestesses were into. And that obviously is what
And had to
Jesus
do
was doing.
also, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
because it had to do also with this specific person that it was able to actually give something from its own body, let's say.
Yeah.
Medea will be like the first Christ because of this kind of idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the
And
body will create the actual substance.
yes, yeah, so she created um pre-Hippocratic medicine. She experimented enough and invented this ability to create what Amen calls polypharmacy, which is taking substances and then using the body to create more substances and then giving those substances to people, right? To have whatever effect. And that is a really probably complex thing to be able to do, a higher technology that's
Mhm.
lost. There are texts that talk about how um, uh, Hecate would experiment with poisons. Circe would experiment with poisons on strangers and often killing people for fun. Just,
Mhm.
I don't know if necessarily fun is the right word, but just to experiment and
This is
develop.
Bronze Age reality we're talking
It
about
is
now.
Bronze Age reality because
Probably it was fun.
I mean, now
It
it's
was
being
fun for them.
backed. It's backed by archaeology. I mean, this was the beginning of all substance use, really, that's
Mhm.
been documented from her lineage, really. And
Do you
yeah,
remember
she's
the founding in Menorca about
mhm.
the hair that they found the drugs in hair of
Oh, the hair, yeah.
women?
Hmm.
We were very close to that spot when we were recording the first time we went there, and like very
Majorca.
close. We're absolutely like right there, not right there,
Wow.
but let's say it's in the islands in of the Mediterranean and
Yeah.
southeast Spain. But we were in the
I
south.
love Majorca. So cool.
Mm. So we we
My
we couldn't manage that at that time, but yeah, at that same moment, we knew about that. I mean,
mhm.
about that discovery in like
Yeah.
they actually found the concoctions in the hair, in the
Hmm.
this small stuff that they were having some. I don't remember the name of the actual compound, but it was
Okay.
plants like aconite
Hmm.
or like something that you will not use to go and sleep, you know.
Yeah.
This is some
Right.
hardcore drugs on her hair that they
Yeah.
found. Mhm.
Yeah, and that comes from uh the Amazons, right? The women
Mhm.
who cut off one
Traumatic.
of their breasts so they could use those arrow poisons right on horseback. And I just read, I skimmed through it, but a whole thing on the Amazons, and it was really cool.
Mhm.
Um
It is.
that
It is
all of
incredible
that.
cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like those substances, those venoms being um experimented with and used, uh yeah, it's not random though. They weren't
Mhm.
like the magic wasn't random supernatural miracles happening. It was very precise. It was a procedure. It was like scientific. And when we think about it from like, oh, an indigenous or a when we say experimental, we think, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Like we think very closed about maybe the capacities of what the ancient world is capable of, I think. And in my opinion, I'm catching on that
Mhm.
what was being done, I mean, even if you look at jewelry, like stuff is very intricate, complex, like creations of art. You think, oh, that a you know a dumb person could like didn't have hospitals, for example, when Huff was saying that
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Joe Rogan, right? Oh yeah, they didn't have hospitals, and so that's an example of like how history's been manipulated. You think the ancient world is
Yeah, which
dumber,
is absolutely
and that our
crazy. Yeah.
modern time we're more advanced because what we have this kind of technology, but they also had technology that we haven't been able to figure out. And there are many examples of that out there that have been of things
Of
found
that
and
same idea of that they didn't know, like just go to the Amazon. I mean,
yeah, just
those dudes
just that.
were fucking. If I go there, I will be dead in 24 hours. You know,
Yeah. They might
they know
save
how
you,
to.
you never know.
Yeah, I mean, they have to know about medicine, about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Thing is, they stayed there. They didn't have this thing that happened in Mediterranean, which you had all of this like inland ocean.
Hmm.
That imagine I'm a diver. I know how
Yeah.
it is to go in to the ocean. You know, it's I've
Right.
been living in the Mediterranean. It's not well, the Mediterranean could be very rough, but it's not the same. You know, so obviously people gather around it, and stuff happened over there. It's not like the Amazon, let's say. So because if you are in the Amazon, probably you will not have a bunch of people coming around during 1,000 years. You know, maybe you will see somebody else in fucking 1,000 years old. I mean, like in 1,000 years. But the Mediterranean was connecting different realities from and knowledge and practices, rites, um, and at the same time, any kind of crazy thing you can imagine. Like if you get here, we'll kill you, we will eat you, or we just raise women, like like all of this Amazonian thing. I'm going crazy on it now. Like this whole idea of that this was myth when there's a lot of we know it wasn't. These women existed, and they were how can you know that? Because you have a lot of sources during a prolonged period of time that
Hmm.
you get the references from everywhere. So we understand that it's the way you make history, I guess, like with the references,
Yeah.
which was something that the understanding of what philology does, it gave
Hmm.
us also to us for the work we're doing. Like,
Yeah.
okay, but what are they saying that happened in the 540? Well, dude, we cannot say. We can say what happened in what is quoting these. Well, I mean, we have to we cannot give generalities of anything, so we cannot tell you, but you can have a pretty. You can know what they were saying about themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be like the most
You could know
important.
what they were writing about and what
Like,
they were believing in. And yeah, that's why, like, looking back into the oracles and their influence on the culture and society, um, you know, in so many ways, just being a center of gravity, um, and yeah, like following the threads of the serpent worship, for example, and seeing how that ties back into the python, the Pythia, the oracles, the snake worship, Gaia, and the use of the snake venom too. It's just like follow the threads, see and look in the language, and it will lead you there. And but yeah, like Medea being this, I don't know, she's just some powerhouse of creative knowledge of that experience, the like so many emotions, all of these texts that I put in the document are very like to give a good picture of her in so many different lights. And I purposefully didn't choose Euripides Medea because that one's been played out so much, and I'm bored of it. So let I want to look at Seneca's Medea, and that one is a lot more violent. It's really aggressive. She gives a really beautiful long incantation in that, but it's also like it gives such beautiful description of who she was, and um yeah, let's do you want to pull that
let's
up?
go. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Let me figure out
Oh, you know
how
you're
many.
good. But yeah, like so
Got it.
the
There it is.
oh man, okay, let
I
me
think
try
it's
to read this.
small.
Yeah, yeah, Seneca's Medea. So you see, like
Secas Maria.
even just in the language, yeah, in the language, it's talking about her use of these death-dealing herbs, squeezing out serpents' venoms. It's not like it's very specific stuff, right?
Mhm.
She's heart of a boding owl, and a horse screech owl's vitals cut out alive. Like those are very specific things. Who's experimenting with that, right? Who's going and catching an owl and then ripping its heart out? Like what
Now,
kind of creativity or impulse are you getting in order to get to that point where you're doing that type of things? Like
and
the
also
Butchie was
he's not writing it like randomly. He's writing it
no.
because of a reason. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you.
Yeah. So I don't know. It says in that first one, it describes this magic that she's doing. Yeah, let's see here. Sorry, my eyes are bad. She adds to her poison's words, and um yeah, she while she chants her incantations, and all nature shudders as she begins her song. I love that. And then another part in that text, it talks about how in her magic she cuts herself open, or her arms up like a Maenad, saying that the Maenads would do that and pour the blood on the altar, and that was a source um of drawing the sword, endure the sight of beloved blood, slashing her arms, letting the blood flow. And that is something that is very grotesque and not seen in other texts, right? I've not really seen um her cut herself, right? I've seen
Mhm.
her be a little aggressive, obviously, like slaying her kids and stuff, but not toward herself to participate in her magic, right? So she's tossing her head with a bended neck and uttering her magic words, lying in funeral fashion. I mean, like, imagine what it'd be like to be there in that story, even if it's just drama, right? Even if it's made up, created, it's still uh, what an image of her. And then it's very drastic from others. So, in Ovid's Metamorphoses, she's doing this beautiful incantation. It's one of my favorites. I think, even though it's in the Latin, and I'm not like interested in the Latin right now, but I still like the translation of this.
Mhm.
And yeah, she gathers these herbs, and let's see, when the moon was shining at its fullest, gazing on the earth, she left the palace dressed in clasped robes. Her feet were bare, her unbound hair streamed down over her shoulders, and she wandered companionless through midnight's still silence. That's so beautiful. You can go to the next page because it continues into looking at her words and what she says,
There
which
it is.
I'm not gonna read that whole thing, but it's something that you can look
If you
up. And
want, you
it's,
can.
if I want
Please,
to. I mean,
please.
we have the
It
time.
sounds
Okay.
great when you are reading.
uh yeah, so it describes the environment really nicely. The leaves are still and silent, dew-filled air, only the flickering stars moved. Stretching her arms to them 3 times, she's turned herself about. 3 times sprinkled her head with water from the running stream. 3 times let out a wailing cry, and then knelt on the hard earth and prayed that whole incantation, and calling upon night, calling upon stars, Hecate, to earth, breezes, airs, pools, hills, every water course. And
Mhm.
yeah, asking and declaring through um this reverence for nature. And the um yeah, these deities who exist, these powers that can be embodied. And yeah, so beautiful. And yeah, not in vain. Stars glittered in reply. Not
Would
in
you?
vain. Yeah. What?
Would you, Mari? Would you read it for us?
Oh, you want me to read it? Oh
Nah,
man.
if you,
All
just if
right.
you want. If you don't want,
Okay.
right.
I mean, there's more I would like to read too. I will read it. It's my favorite, but
Okay.
night, night, most faithful keeper of our sacred rites, stars that with the golden moon succeed the fires of light. Triple Hecate, you who know all our undertakings, and come to aid the witch's art and all our incantations. You, earth, who yield the sorcerer's herbs of magic force, you, airs and breezes, pools and hills, and every water course, be here, all you gods of night and gods of groves and doors. Streams at will, by banks amazed, turn backwards to their source. I calm rough seas and stir the calm by my magic spells. Bring clouds, disperse the clouds, raise storms and storms dispel. And with my incantations I break the serpent's teeth, and root up nature's oaks and rocks from their native heath, and move the forests and command the mountain tops to shake. earth to groan, and from their tombs the sleeping dead to wake. You also, Luna, I draw down eclipsed from heaven's stain. The bronzes of Temis clash to take away your pains, and at my chant the chariot of the sun god, my grandsire, grows pale aurora. At my poisons dims her morning fire. You quench the bull's hot flame for me, force their necks to bow beneath the heavy yoke that never pulled the curving plow. You turn the savage warfare, born of the serpent's teeth, against itself and lull the watcher, innocent of sleep. That guard deceived bring golden spoil to the towns of Greece. Now I need the juice by which old age may be renewed, that I can regain the prime of years, return the flower of youth, and you will grant it. Not in vain stars glittered in reply, not in vain winged dragons bring my chariot through the sky. Ah, and then she goes into the sky in her chariot. Beautiful. I love
Absolutely
that.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you, Maddalena.
of
Thank you.
course. Thanks for having me read it. It started storming and now it's really hard. Whoa.
Well, I just saw the lightning. It just happened.
Always storming when I'm trying to do this kind of stuff.
Love it.
Me
It's
too.
like the
Yeah.
first time I was talking with you. We cannot even fucking. I don't know if you remember, but I was in the desert, which is dry
Oh,
and
yeah.
hot in the summer, but I was like in the in the high of the Andes. In the
Yeah.
summer, sometimes you can have a huge
Beautiful.
storm. It was that same day we had a huge storm. First day we talked.
Awesome.
So it reminds me that. Okay, so
Yeah.
I will go with this as you tell me. I'm managing your document. Where are we now?
So through you hear that? Wow, that's so loud.
Yeah, you're cutting a bit.
So
Cutting a bit. Show us the lightning. It's hot now
yeah,
over there.
it was
Changing.
crazy. Yeah, it's warm.
It's the winter
So
doesn't want to go.
let's see.
He's screaming his
Right.
last his
Screaming
last
is loud, yeah.
lightnings.
So one thing I wanted to also share before I read the next one was yeah, so the purpose of her magic is to and is what created can you hear me?
No.
You can hear good.
We can hear you as Optimus Prime. Sounds
Okay.
like Transformer. Like,
Oh.
but now you're coming back now.
Oh man. Okay.
Now you are.
So
Now we got you.
so she created the what would
Heck, is
be the
that
first
lightning? I'm sorry.
mystery.
Is that lightning?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's crazy
That's
lightning right now.
your perfect spot. Amazing.
And yeah, it's a big storm right now. But yeah, so that this mystery it is this death and rebirth right that ended up captivating the world. And I mean, like I wonder what that experience truly was involving. It had so many elements, right? You had the music, you had the substances, you had the strings, right? You have these images as well that are being expressed or given in some way. And that's why I want to read these things is because through just reading the translation, you can get an idea of what that is, of what she's doing. So this next one is really cool because it's talking about Eros and Medea. And basically making her love struck for Jason and the Argonautica. So I thought that it was really beautiful. So arrows passed unseen through a gray mist, causing confusion, as when against grazing heifers rises the gadfly, which ox herds call the breeze. And quickly beneath the lintel in the porch he strung his bow and took from the quiver an arrow unshot before, messenger of pain. And with swift feet unmarked he passed the threshold and keenly glanced around, and gliding close by Aeson's son, he laid the arrow notch on the cord in the center, and drawing wide apart with both hands he shot at Medea, and speechless amazement seized her soul. But the god himself flashed back again from the high-roofed hall, laughing loud, and the bolt burnt deep down in the maiden's heart like a flame. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that
Amazing.
crazy? What do you think about
Absolutely.
that?
Well, I mean, if this reminds, I love it, but this reminds me conversation I had about with Amen about
Yeah.
like you can read this. I mean, you can read this, like I can give this to anybody who find it maybe beautiful, maybe whatever.
Mhm.
But I was reading some stuff that we were talking, um, but I had to read it like 4 times to actually understand. Not because you want to understand. I mean, you can just appreciate the words,
Yeah.
but but you will need a bit of understanding of what you're reading to be able
Yes.
to actually
Mhm.
like take what
Mhm.
is in there, so
Yeah.
and understand what you mean, like you see this and you can extraer, like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it in English, but you can get some. So that's what also is so important to, because it's not just the words. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not just the words. You connect
Yeah.
it with things that you already know, and there are
Mhm.
like implicit
Yeah.
or on the atmosphere, and you can actually read this and get understand things that they don't have to explain to
I'm
you,
still learning
and
too.
just
I don't have it all figured out, all of these aspects, but I yeah, I thought that was a good image to take in.
amazing.
Yeah. So let's see what the other one. The other one is talking about
This is, but I'm sorry,
mhm.
just for the we're recording this, so
Oh yeah.
this
No worries
Apollodorus
there.
Argonautica. So can you
Yeah.
tell us about this source a little bit? Like
Argonautica,
who
yes.
are we talking about now? Where, what time frame for people that might be watching?
Where
This is like Argonautica is
I'd
Bronze
have to
Age,
look
is
that up.
pre-Homeric, I
I'd,
guess. Pre-Homeric, kind
mm,
of.
it's not, I mean, it's
Apollodorus,
talking
no.
about perhaps Polydorus, I think was
Apollodorus
probably
is
like, I don't know,
way, way,
3, 4,
way after
4th century
Argonautica.
BC. I'd have to look
Fourth
it up
century.
again. I don't have them all memorized, but it is, I'm just going to
Not necessary.
many of
Just
the
talk.
descriptions of, and
But
um
Apollodorus is a
so
guy.
that the
He's
is this the
writing.
guy, yeah,
It's just a
who's
guy that is
writing this,
writing,
yeah.
and he's using this term Argonautica,
Yeah.
which we know is
Hmm.
pretty old.
Talking about the Yes, very old, yeah.
Mhm.
Very much. So
Like before all of this was happening, like Argonatica was like Bronze Age, I guess.
yeah, it was like pre-Trojan War.
Songs,
So I don't know.
Trojan
If
War,
you wanna date it, probably like uh 12, 1300
12,
BC.
1300
I
BC.
I like that's guessing. I'm
Hmm.
that's me guessing there. But
And they were singing.
um
They were singing about it till
yes.
Homer made his his big concert.
Yes. Yeah. So this document is I just compiled a bunch of descriptions of Medea that
Should I
I
keep going?
thought were interesting. Sure. So the next one, the paragraph at the bottom. No, the page before. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The bottom. No, you're good. So
Yeah.
that bottom one describes her. Um, let's see here. So now, soon as ever, the maiden saw the light of dawn. With her hands, she gathered up her golden tresses, which were floating around her shoulders in careless disarray, and bathed her tear-stained cheeks and made her skin shine with ointment, sweet as nectar. And she donned a beautiful robe fitted with well-bent clasps, and on her head, divinely fair, she threw a veil gleaming like silver. And there, moving to and fro in the palace, she trod in the ground, forgetful of the heaven-sent woes thronging round her, and of others that were destined to follow. And she called to her maids, 12 they were, who lay during the night in the vestibule of her fragrant chamber, young as herself, yet not sharing the bridal couch. And she bade them hastily. And I love that image of her with the veil and hair, walking about being sad. Walking around and being emotional. I feel like that's her. You can go to the next page.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch the side of this.
So this goes into
Can you? Sorry. Don't worry.
what?
Nothing.
Oh no,
I'm
okay.
just
So
just thank you. But you just closed her.
Oh, no, se caía.
She felt.
my page refreshed and I lost.
You're here. You're here.
Okay. So
We hear you.
good. So yeah, that one is talking about her all of this. So that she was doing for Jason and
Hmm.
yeah, bringing the charm. And she had placed, I liked this portion because she put the pharmacon on a girdle around her bosom and brought the charm to him. And that's why I put that one up. So that was a cool
Yeah, you can
paragraph.
have.
So
I
yeah.
understand what you want with it.
So with the next one, the Pythian Ode,
This is
um,
this part.
Pindar. Yeah, so let's see here. Doo-doo-doo. The
Are you
priestess.
seeing
What?
the? But are you seeing
Yeah, I'm sorry.
the page? Okay,
Yes. Uh-huh.
because if you
You can go to the next one. I wanted
next one. Okay.
to, yeah. Yeah, so let's see here.
Mhm.
The queen of the Colchians breathed forth from her immortal mouth, and she spoke in this way to the heroes, and she gave an oracle. Yeah. So that's why I brought up this one. She
Mhm.
gives this oracle to these warriors, these heroes, about what is going to happen. And I thought that was cool. This one isn't my favorite because I don't have all of the I'm not like I'm still learning all of the mythology, So all the names to me some are just names until I
Mhm.
really dive deep and become intertwined with knowing all of the name dropping. Right.
But
So, but
but he now she's talking to. I mean, she spoke in this way to the heroes who sailed with the word Jason. So he was talking
mhm,
to the sailors in
yeah.
the vessel. Okay,
Mhm. Yes,
not
as
directly to
an
Jason
oracle.
on
To the
an oracle
heroes who
for them.
sailed with them. Yeah.
No, exactly. Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, and you can look those up, this
I
up
I thought
and
that you were going to read it.
easily too.
was was
Oh, you want me to read it? I can, and
I
it's
no, it's just
it's
okay.
okay.
I mean, if you
It's
want,
okay. There's just a lot.
we
I
would
don't want to
love
read
to.
all of it.
I mean,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we would love to. No worries. No, nobody has heard
No
this.
worries. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
nobody's
amazing.
heard this. I feel
I'll
like
not
if I
read it
read it, then
as you.
okay.
You read it way better.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Let's let's just go to the next one because I want to see what's
Okay.
on that page. What do I have
Six.
next?
Um. Wait. There.
Okay, cool. Oh yes, so I wanted to bring up the earliest reference of Medea
Mhm.
was in Theogony, and it talks about the Medea, the daughter of Aeetes, the heaven-nurtured king, when he finished the many grievous labors which the great king, overbearing Pelias, that outrageous and presumptuous doer of violence, put upon him. Oh wait. But when the son of Aeson had finished them, he came to Iolcus after long toil, bringing the coy-eyed girl with him on his swift ship, and made her his bosom wife. And she was subject to Iason, the shepherd of the people, and bore a son Midias, whom Chiron, the son of Philyra, brought up in the mountains, and the will of great Zeus was fulfilled. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. So,
I
oh
switch.
yeah, my bad.
Okay, but
Okay.
okay, yeah, but
So
that's amazing.
yeah,
That's
so
like it's naming
that's
Chiron,
the next one, and
the great teacher of
this
Jason.
is
Something
yeah,
we know about Chiron. Chiron is
yeah, yeah,
the centaur, isn't it?
yeah. Forget
His
this.
centaur
Yeah.
teacher. Okay, so
So yeah, this is a historical account, right? It's the histories,
mhm.
and it talks about Medea um promised to slay Peleus by means of cunning to deliver to the chieftains the royal palace without their running any risk. And when they all expressed astonishment at her statement, because she was known for not being violent, right? Uh, where am I? They sought to learn what sort of a scheme she had in mind. She said that she had brought with her many drugs of marvelous potency, which had been discovered by her mother Hecate and her sister Circe. And though before this time she had never used them to destroy human beings, on this occasion she would, by means of them, easily wreaking vengeance upon men who were deserving of punishment. So then Medea, the tale goes on, sorry, fashioning a hollow image of Artemis, secreted in it drugs of diverse natures, and as for herself, she anointed her hair with certain potent ointments and made it gray, and filled her face and body so full of wrinkles that all who looked upon her thought that she was surely an old woman. And finally, taking with her the statue of the goddess, which had been so made as to strike with terror the superstitious populace and move it to fear of the gods, at daybreak she entered the city, and she acted like one inspired. And as the multitude rushed together along the street, she summoned the whole people to receive the goddess with reverence, telling them that the goddess had come to them from the Hyperboreans to bring good luck to both the city and the king. And while all the inhabitants were rendering obeisance to the goddess and worshipping and honoring her with sacrifices, and the whole city, in a word, was along with Medea herself, acting like people inspired in a and in that mania. She she entered the palace, and there she threw Pelias into such a state of superstitious fear, and by her magic arts so terrified his daughters that they believed that the goddess was actually there in person to bring prosperity. And then she told one of them to bring pure water, and so they brought it to her. She shut herself away and said, she went in a small chamber and washed herself thoroughly, so her whole body was made clean of the drugs. And then being restored to her former condition and showing herself to the king, she amazed them who gazed upon her, and they thought that a kind of providence of the gods had transformed her old age into a maiden's youth and striking beauty. Also, by means of certain drugs, she caused shapes of dragons to appear, which she declared had brought the. You can go to the next page.
Sorry.
Brought the goddess through the air from the Hyperboreans to. Wait. Yeah. To make her stay with Pelias. And since the deeds which Medea had performed appeared to be too great for mortal nature, the king saw fit to regard her with great approval. But then she ends up killing him. So she tricks them, does
Well,
all of this stuff, and then ends up boiling
yeah.
him, right? But first cutting up a lamb and then restoring the lamb out of the pot and but doing it as an image, working a deception by means of certain drugs, and then drawing out of the cauldron an image
Yeah.
which looked like a lamb,
And,
which
and,
is good
and
work,
this
honestly. That's great magic. If anybody did that to me, I'd be like, what
the daughters,
the?
obviously they
Yeah,
had to they were taking the same or whatever.
yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, I wrote that. I have read that one a
yeah.
bunch of times. I'm trying to
Really?
find
Okay.
this what you are just saying now. Before I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
reading it a bunch of times, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty specific, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so crazy. Yeah, the at the
Yeah.
end, at the bottom, it talks about how she, um, when she was, in this text, it talks about how she, um, used her drugs to set fire to
Mm.
the building,
Medea's fire.
and yep, and It says it set fire to the building by applying to it a little root which had been discovered by her sister Circe. Had the property that when it kindled, it was hard to put out. And when the palace burst into flames, it
I'm going.
killed Medea's or Jason's
Wait. Yeah.
yeah, the princess and Corinthians. The fire hemmed them in on all sides, and they were consumed by it.
There's some
And
kind
in
of specific way of make fire.
yeah,
That will, yeah.
and then it says
Legal
that
sense. It's technology. We're talking about tech.
yeah. So it says that yeah, another
Where are you?
text says that she anointed herself with poisons, and then when she
Where are you?
embraced her, so at the top it says
At the top or so?
certain historians, however, say that the sons of Medea brought to the bride gifts which had been anointed with poisons, and that when the princess took them, put them on her body, both her and her father, when he ran to help her and embraced her, they both perished.
They were
Because of the
burnt.
poisons. They were poisons in that and according to them. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But this is the Medea, the Euripides Medea, isn't it?
no, this one is not. This one's the histories of
This is
Diodorus Siculus. So
from
it's
Diodorus. Okay. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
really similar to that, but it's just
But
documenting.
because he was saying like, yeah, the father touched the daughter and
Yeah,
burst in fire, because then you can like
right.
think like, okay, it was some kind of oil that you cannot put down or something like
Yeah,
that.
some sort of
Mhm.
yeah. So let's see. Doo, doo, doo. Oh yeah, so it says afterwards she escaped, except she killed her sons except for one, and then she fled
Mm.
from Corinth and made her way to Heracles. And I guess when she met
Thieves.
Heracles, he acted as a mediator in connection with the agreements when they were on the Argo, right? Um,
Mhm.
and said that Heracles had promised to come to her aid if she needed that. So, but then I guess when she ended up going there, he had just lost his mind and killed his own sons. So
Mm.
she was like, "All right, I'm not staying with you."
Yeah. And
And
at this point,
yeah,
I already knows Heracles. She already
yeah,
knows him.
yeah,
Yeah. It's all
yeah. He
about.
became
uh,
famous on his own too. So.
mhm. Yeah.
So the next one I have is also histories, Herodotus. I wanted to include this just
Yeah.
because here are histories that talk about how Medea is an actual human that exists, right? Not just mythology,
Mhm.
right? It's like talking about the Medes here. So the Medes served in the expedition equipped in precisely the same manner. For this equipment, in fact Median and not Persian. The Medes acknowledged as their commander Tigranes and Achaemenid, which is a whole empire, right, in itself, even though I can't say it well. These in ancient times used to be generally called Aryans, but Medea the Colchian came from Athens to these Aryans, they also changed their names. Thus the Medes themselves report about themselves. Isn't that cool? So there it is. That's the text that talks about how the Medes come from Medea.
Mhm.
Cool. I just wanted
Yeah.
to show that.
That's amazing that we don't have this historical figure like pretty much like, okay,
Yeah.
you should know about her.
Yeah. And they're
You
at the
think there is a
bottom.
specific reason? I know it's
Are we-
like out of context question,
Mm.
but you think it's a specific, I don't know, like why? Why wouldn't she? I mean, we have a bunch of historical figures that have way less um,
Written about them.
recordings about them.
Mhm. Yeah.
You think there is something like
Right.
why? You have an idea about it?
Well, I don't
No?
know. I mean, why don't others? Why, like for example, well, I don't have a good example, but there are people that are just regarded as being complete myth, not existing in real life, and then others that are like, yes, this person, we have proof. We need proof. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's each person has their own opinion. I mean, I think that she existed, of course, because I have had that experience, of, you know, um,
Mhm.
being impacted by her,
But you can, like, let's say imagine I have this story. I was
Mhm.
once invited to um this, how can I say it in English? It's like the council.
Okay.
It's a person from another country that comes to another country, isn't it? In English?
Oh yeah, like
Council. Yeah, okay.
an ambassador. Yeah.
An ambassador, yeah. It was like one of them, it was Greek in here in
Okay.
Chile, which actually the Greek embassy is like 2 blocks from my apartment here in the place I live.
Nice.
And I was invited because I was since last year. I had some meetings with them. They know that we were doing this documentary and everything. So last year they invited us, like at the end of the last year, to this consul
Mm.
or ambassador lecture or what, or like talking. So we went and they actually let
Yeah,
us to film over there. So we filmed everything. And because they
that's
know
cool.
that we were doing this project. And he was talking
That's
about
awesome.
he was from Crete, his whole family.
Hmm.
So he made a presentation about Minoans. And
Oh.
he's not a scholar or anything. I don't know what his profession is, but he's the consul, So, and his
Hmm.
father and grandfathers, they all of them were archaeologists. So he has
That's cool.
the whole presentation he did was about
Yeah.
the Minoan heritage that he has in Crete, which is
Yeah.
Bronze Age. Like so,
Hmm.
he did this whole presentation. I have already been in Europe before, doing the first scouting or the first expedition of the documentary. So I
Yeah.
have been talking with Damon a lot, and
Hmm.
he makes this presentation. He shows these women with snakes in their hands,
Oh yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
and a lot of things that from on. So he gives this presentation about how everything is just myth. Everything is just legend. To see this, how you say it, to see this in, you know him, like in English. I don't know how to say it. Like the one of the
Yeah.
biggest Spartan historians. I don't know Spartan, but like historians,
Cool.
maybe like from to see this. So he was
I
saying
think so.
like
Yeah.
he was talking about the Minoans. They were cleaning the Mediterranean from the pirates and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he was somebody asked him after he said like somebody would you like to ask something or whatever. So a guy that obviously he was studying like ancient Greek history. So he says like, well, but you will not say that if we know that Minoans cleaned the Mediterranean from pirates, They will
Yeah.
be quiet. It will not be like in a peaceful way, because he was saying that there's not any evidence that they were doing any kind of rites or sacrifices or even
Yeah.
warring to anybody. And the whole Thucydides, as historian of the ancient Greece world, was just legends. So
Right.
this is what I find. I have it on film, eh? I have everything on film. And this is like the proper authorities of Greece saying to you that all of this is just a myth. And he was like, obviously, after I was talking with Amon about it, and then making the research of all of this. So what I'm trying to say is that now all of what you are doing, giving us these sources and everything, and studying them and reading them as part of history, like big shots from even the consulate are saying that this is just myth. They were just having a good time. He said that the snakes and everything and the ritual and the sacrifices, there's not any evidence for it. They were like,
What?
it was
Like, how
like,
can you say that? There's so,
I
I feel
mean,
like there's so
I know,
much
I know, I know.
evidence for
But I'm telling
it.
you, he's the top authority, you know,
Wow.
in another country speaking about this country. So I
Mhm.
was talking about this with another of the producers of the documentary, because we filmed everything. They let us to film. So obviously, I'm not gonna try to like look at
Change
this
his
guy is
mind.
talking. He's just talking shit, you know, because
Yeah.
we were invited. But I was talking with him and with my other producer. It was like, dude, I mean, what can you? I mean, he's a counsel. He's like he doesn't supposed to say. He doesn't suppose even to know like and to care about what is actually all of this about.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So that's, I think, why it's important all of this exercise we're doing, like to read what you have, for people like you to go and study the real source and can give a class
Yeah.
to the Council of Greece, you know,
Hmm.
speaking stuff in other countries, because
That's
even we knew what he was showing. He was showing some stuff that we know what was referring the whole picture or small deity, which is not just from Crete. It's
you're
like,
right.
you know, we have been studying it.
Exactly.
So s- s-
Yeah.
so this makes even more, it gives us an engine also as documentarians, like everything you're doing,
It is
and to
worth
actually
it.
see what is going on in the mainstream stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying to you is like, this is the council, is the only one here in Chile which talks
Hmm.
about what Greece is. He's giving a lecture. He shows you the snakes and the women with the snakes in her hands, and he's saying
Yeah.
they did this because they love nature, and you know
Yeah.
nothing about it.
It's like, it's also
It's his
like,
job. It's his
man,
job.
it's his job. You're right.
Exactly.
And of course, they're not going to get crazy with it. Right. And when you're a teacher like that, when you're doing a presentation, but we know like what the snakes symbolized and that it was more than just nature worship, but part of that being, the even, the snake being the worship of Gaia, the earth. So a part of nature worship is that is
Yeah, but in a way, he was right.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing is, I think that there's not like an agenda of like actually studying stuff. You know, it's not like important to actually going to, because he's not talking about Greece, he's talking about Bronze Age, which is like it's like it's not even Europe history. It's like the history of the Western world, So somehow, I guess it must be a bit of our responsibility to say what you are saying, or to at least leave the door open. But in that case was they already know everything that what they were saying, in a way,
Yeah.
in the presentation. Like, no, they
Yeah.
loved snakes. There's not evidence from any kind of priesthood of woman. He
Yeah.
said that shit, like absolutely, like, open, because somebody also asked him.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
this idea of the woman and the group.
Mm-hmm.
So no, there's no evidence. We don't know about that. Probably not.
Yeah.
So we keep in the dark everything, which seems to be like the whole like the instruction
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who is going to, you they
Yeah.
knew that what we were doing, eh?
Yeah.
That's why we let us to record it
That's
today.
cool that you got to be invited though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't showed anything. Probably after what we are talking about now, maybe if they are seeing it, they will not invite me anymore.
Oh.
But that's not the point. I mean, the point is, like, we are just making a movie.
Yeah. So cool. There was nothing else on the document, right? Was that it?
Mhm.
Don't have more. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I would just wanted to look at, yeah, you can take it down. I just wanted to give an image of who Medea was, and yeah, that's like my passion project right now. And yeah, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stories. There's even more. There's so much that I could share or look at in regards to her. And if you compare the those sources, those stories to the mystery and what her rites look like, what her magic involved, then it gives you a better, well-rounded idea of how the mysteries operated, right?
Mhm.
So her necromancy and her magic was real in a way. Like there was that one text we saw where she purposely was being manipulative and trying to deceive in order to kill the king, and which was normally against what she was about, but yet she knew that that person deserved punishment, so she was willing to use her gifts and her magic for harm, and instead of healing, instead
Mhm.
of you know I mean, all of it's just really cool, and it's accessible for anybody to read and look at, so I suggest it. I recommend it.
Maddalena, and also it's like you can see. I mean, even you way more than me, but if I can feel that there is a knowledge, a tech, something there that that like we don't have now, like that's the
Mhm.
whole point, I guess. Like there was something that was being developed that I guess it's two options: or stopped,
Mhm.
or it kept going, but not for everybody. I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah,
go into
well,
the conspiracy like kind of thing, but
yeah.
but
Well,
it's,
there
it's
are
pretty obvious it was there was some not average knowledge, if you will say, is even if you talk that here in South America we have all of this idea of the shaman, you know, and people goes and people comes from everywhere in the world to go to the Amazon and to
Yeah.
take some drugs with the shaman, you know. It's even a business now. So you can
Right.
go
It's
and
very
even
popular.
yeah, you can go to the desert here and take some San Pedro and go
Yes.
with a brujo will bring you to some, well, which is not fake. I mean, if you take the thing, you will
You
go
do.
somewhere, you know. If
Mhm.
the people that is doing it, it's absolutely legit. But what I mean is
Good
like
formula.
this was not some like let's do this in the after party, you know.
Right.
This was
Right.
something that he was meant to be a part of a society for a reason
Yeah.
to evolve as humans in well in a society, I guess. Like, okay,
Yeah.
everybody needs to go and see what is in the other side. We will not
Right.
tell you. So that's just amazing, you know, like
Yeah.
that comes, which is new for me. I'm sure it's
I
not
hope
for
it
you, but
I hope it can be revived. You know, it's supposed to someday be
well,
revived and ethically before we can revive it, it'd be awesome. It'd be so cool.
yeah.
To go outside of space time and yeah, be in that space in that ion would be really cool.
Mhm.
But also, it was like designed to shed away fear of death, to eliminate that when you come back on planet Earth, you are a whole different person essentially. You know why you're on the planet. You remember your true nature. You remember that experience was natural in a way because it evolved. It was a technology that came from the earth that she developed and that carried a society for a long time. I mean, the
Mhm.
priesthoods that had that existed for quite a while. And to see it just completely be erased from society now and understand that we've lost that for the last couple millennium is crazy. It's it's um it's disappointing in a way because it's going to take a lot to figure it out now. So much has been
Mhm.
lost. Yeah.
Mhm.
So so much has changed.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can talk about like the why and all of that for like 2 more hours.
Yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah.
but well, Maddalena, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for being in
It
conversation.
was amazing to hear you like can you say like when you recitar to recite
Yeah.
the paragraphs. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Of
And
course.
well, I guess this is I know that you guys are already with the north in what you're doing and everything. Again, we are just making a documentary,
Yeah.
but we're going we had a plan before and it's not the
Mm.
same anymore because
Yeah.
obviously we're being going deeper into the topic,
Yeah.
and at some point you started taking it a bit more seriously. You know,
Yeah.
we're not talking about superhero plot and script.
Yeah.
So is a thing that we want to do like in the proper way. So this conversation we're having with you is for us is something that is helping us to do what we are doing.
I can't wait to see what
First of all.
you've made and all of the art in it. And yeah, beautiful.
Well,
Thank you
the
for
guys,
inviting me
Lucas,
on.
Nico, Toran, they are
Yeah,
doing
all of you
everything. You
guys.
know? Just,
Yeah.
I mean, they are not here talking with you, but they are hearing you right now.
Yeah.
They're not right,
Awesome.
but you know, so yeah, we have to be able to adapt, and even though we have a clear idea of what we're doing, we cannot left out everything we're being understanding now. Like me talking with you, and for me, it gives me more understanding of all the whole topic. We are new to this. We just started with this a year ago. You
Yeah.
know?
Awesome.
So we're going crazy with it. And well, again, Maddalena, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bruno. I really appreciate you having me on. It was really fun.
Well, for me also. Have a great time.
You too.
And well, thank you, Mari. I hope we can do this again and keep in touch.
For sure.
For this experiment that a lot of us are doing. I guess you are experimenting also. We're experimenting also.
Always. Yes, always. All right. Good night, you guys.
Okay. Buenas noches. Good night, Maddalena. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.